Hey everyone, and welcome to another gadget. Oh, I forgot to do that. And there's the background. Okay.
You hit go live, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we did go live. I got that part. But I mean, we can have the background. We don't have to have background. I don't know. We can do either way. But welcome everybody to a gadget talk. Yeah, we're starting a little early, and I'll give a little bit of explanation on that here in a little bit. And we're talking about we may do something else, not something else, but a different time because of I'm now working nights at FedEx, and after we get off this air tonight, I am heading to the hub and getting ready to start working. So
have fun.
Oh yeah, I'm calling it the FedEx weight loss plan. I mean, it's constant. I was just telling Chad before we came on that because I'm basically the conveyor belts come on at 11, and I start loading carts and everything like that, and we stop about 2:40. Last night was 2:45, 3 o'clock, and I kicked on the exercise, and I did 187 minutes of exercise, and I burned, as of right now, 187 minutes of exercise today and 2,285 calories just from all that. So, yeah.
Well,
so
you're closing your rings then.
Very much so. Very easily closing the rings before I ever go to bed, and then build it up. So a little bit different. So we're looking at maybe some different times, but we'll let you know when that's going to be. That's going to work out for mine and both Chad's schedule. And we don't want Gadget Talk to go away. And that's the biggest thing. And we want to continue this, and we're just kind of figure out what's going to work out best. So, but seeing everybody here and seeing Sarah from Texas, welcome. Mr. Geocacher is also in California. I don't think you've ever joined us before.
That looks new to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, Engineer 42. And we're going to have something here in a little bit that we're going to share that Engineer 42 sent us. Bell on the Move coming in from California as well. Let's see here. Chandra, I'm here in Memphis. Hey, welcome, Shannon. Thundra 360. Hey, that's a new one too, isn't it?
It doesn't look familiar to me. So yes, that's
So welcome.
New,
right.
My memory is terrible.
Seabiscuit coming in from Western.
Seabeck Tribe. Seabiscuit.
Seabeck Tribe.
Sorry, Lori.
Sorry about that, Lori. And of course, the Pizza Ninja joined us as well. And then we also have there's the
Force Awakens,
and then the Force Awakens coming in from rainy Central Florida. Hey, it was raining here a little earlier today too. So, but
it rained here too today earlier.
Yeah, I think maybe it's raining all over the U.S. right now. We've needed the rain. I'll tell you that much. So the only thing about here is that when it rains, it gets really extremely humid, just like it does down in Florida. So, but before we get into our topic for tonight, which is that we're going to be coming up with a backstory and theme for a gadget cache that Chad's going to be building, I guess, kind of based off of what we had last week on the whole huge box that we were talking about sending to another YouTuber. But we don't know if that's where it's going to go, or if we're just going to completely scrap the entire idea of that one and do something completely different.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but we want to come up with a really cool theme, and we had some ideas last week, but we're going to look at one that I think is really cool as well. So, but let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors. Once I find the video, and there it is. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and a hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today. All right. So I'm seeing a couple comments. People are listening and watching and commenting as they're driving. Please be safe.
Yeah.
I mean, good grief. We're not that important. Yeah, you're not. Your life's not as important. Your life is more important than listening and watching us and commenting on our stuff. So, but yeah, be careful out there, especially those that are in the rain, because both of them, Force Awakens and Shannon, it's been raining, dude. Come on. All right. So also seeing Darren has joined us as well from Australia. So welcome. Hey, this is a little bit earlier for you. So maybe not.
Yeah.
So that might help out. So, all right. So let's talk about backstory. Why would we want to come up with kind of a backstory and theme for a gadget, Chad?
I have no idea. So, I mean, my thought is obviously like what we talked about is to solve the puzzles, right? The backstory. Right. So, I mean, to me, that's why you want to do it. Also, I think it's going to make it a really interesting cache to do, and it's going to make a great experience.
Right.
To find it. So, and I like the idea of actually doing a video, possibly on YouTube, to where you have to go on and watch the video to solve the puzzles in the cache,
right.
Or even having a separate page that you can solve the puzzles on to find the cache as well.
Right, and I think it's the experience. You want the cacher to have a really cool experience of doing it and have a really great story. There was one that had kind of an interesting backstory. It was a night cache in South Carolina. I never got to do it because when I went to go try and do it, it was deactivated. But it was because it had fluorescent or UV sensitive frog prints, and it was a radioactive frog that went out into the woods and had this whole really cool story to it, just to what you're trying to find. And I just, like I said, I never got a chance to go get it because of the markings went away. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't know if it was just a simple ammo can or what it was, but just the backstory just made it really cool. I think you can get really cool favorite points even just on a backstory versus even if it has a story behind the cache. I think you can get a really cool a lot of favorite, like I said, a lot of favorite points on that as well, besides just the container itself.
Yeah, and I years ago I heard about a cache that you actually had to download a MP3 of a book, pretty much a book on tape.
Okay.
And listen to the whole story, and I think it was like a half hour long, the story, to actually solve the puzzle.
That's cool.
The cache is involved in, and so I think that's really cool. I think that's an experience that not many caches have. And yeah, we're talking about creating experiences. That's what we want to do.
Right. And even some of the puzzles, like there's one I did it on my channel. It was about with the gold bug from Edgar Allan Poe, and it was a code cipher, and it actually explained how to use the cipher from in the book to actually be able to find it in the actual cache. So if you went and read that book, it literally gave you how to do the cipher in that book. But he did the whole backstory on that too. And so it's just a lot of these aspects of backstories I think would really make a really great time. Bill on the Move says a story creates a connection for the finder before they even find it. More favorite points. So yeah, so I think that's what's really cool. And I'm gonna go ahead. This was shared by us to us
by Ed or Engineer 42.
Just starting to work nights, guys. Just bear with me, okay? Let's see here. Share screen. There it is. Okay. Yeah, by Engineer 42. And this is called Spy Catcher, and I'm going to share the Maker Caches part of it, Ed. So I'm going to add this to our stream. So Spy Catcher, and just even this part looks really cool. Kind of, so it talks about picking the theme. So this is actually kind of creating basically what we're talking about. And I'm going to take this, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this link. I'm going to put it into the chat as well. So anybody else can pop in here and look at it as well. And kind of read through it. I've kind of skimmed through it pretty quick, but as you can see, this is just kind of laid out kind of a lot about like what we're talking tonight, creating the story and different aspects. And now this is an active cache. And Ed was saying, yeah, it's a kind of a shameless self-promotion but at the same time, I think this is really cool. I mean,
I
look
don't
at the
think it's
different
shameless.
documents and aspects of it, and it's based off of some um, real but modified 1940s FBI training manual is based off of some of the stuff in here. So it's just a lot of really cool things. And then there's the container. It looks like that's the container. That's which is really cool. And then there's some of the ammo cans, and of course there is a gadget aspect to it as well. So I mean, it's
So he got into detail with this. Ed did. So he created this whole page here using complete case files from the OSS, FBI, FCC documents, including real but modified 1940s FBI training manuals,
right.
and some real but modified maps and newspapers. So that's cool. I mean, that's a lot of work that goes into these, but that's what makes a cache so unique and creates a great experience.
Right. I mean, I still remember there was, and I've talked about it before. It was the locationless before they shut all these down. The locationless Venture Lab that everybody was doing all around the world, and it had so many different layers and elements. And you had videos, you had a little game that you had to play. You had all that experience. Even though I know it was not in the guise of the game and not what they were really wanting to work. That's what it just ended up being. But I thought the experience of it was really good. And I'm also sharing the actual GC code here. There's the link in the chat as well. Pizza Ninja was asking for it, and I was going to share it here in just a
I'm
second.
sorry. I was looking at it, not thinking about sharing it.
So, and let me go ahead. Now I kicked it twice, and I knocked out my screen where I was seeing StreamYard. So now let me go. I'm going to stop sharing this one, and I'm going to actually share the actual cache page now. And it has a lot of the same aspects from that, but I think it's really great just kind of going through that. And I'm going to have to dive into that more just to make sure, because he's got a lot of explanation on it. So here's the spy catcher puzzle, mystery cache. It's a 3 difficulty, 1.5 terrain. So, but that just kind of shows you it's not the posted coordinates. So this kind of has some of that, but
there's some great logs on this.
Yeah. Let's just see. I mean, and they're long logs too. Look at that.
That's great.
And that also tells you how good of a cache it is.
Yeah.
So how many times has it been found? And it doesn't matter how many times. 11 times.
25 logs. Yeah, I don't know how many. So it's been found 11 times and 10 favorites. That's a great percentage of favorite points.
And it's been out just almost 2 years.
Well, it says 100% favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. So 10 favorites. Yeah. 100% favorites. So somebody, yeah, that is absolutely awesome. I mean, I don't care if it's a hard puzzle at times. Well, it can be found. And that's the biggest thing. Evil things that I don't like, evil caches where it's under a leaf in a pile of leaves. To me, that's insane. Some people like putting those out, but to me, caches are to be found. So, but I just think this is really good. I'm definitely going to be diving into more of the other page because I want to read the story. I mean, I always love finding the story behind caches anyways. I mean, hence my channel's name, Behind the Cache. So I just really like that. And I just think that's really cool, Ed. Awesome job. And that is just super, super creative of how you did that. So
yeah, that's really, really cool. So on that link that he gave us, is there a link on his page that sent you to that?
Let me see.
Open case files. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I was just trying to think how they did that. So, I think that's cool. So I think what we need to figure out
is actually even different. Okay, hold on.
Is it different?
Yeah. So when you actually click on the link, it brings you to a completely different page. And this is a really great way of being able to use your cache page and be able to link to a different website. So I'm not going to show any more than from here because I don't want to reveal anything, but that's just, and I may be by accident here, but this is just drops into the case. So you have case files, geocache referenced, FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin. What's geocaching? Geocache. So what's a geocache? So this is just really well done. And that's just really cool. I love this. And this is GC8Y2DX for our audio listeners. So GC8Y2DX. So
That's cool.
see,
You know,
and that's what the experience of doing this. And even though we're going to be building a gadget, this is what makes a great cache.
so I actually started an event that was a secret agent event. I never actually held it, but I started creating it, and it has all that to where the cacher who's going to attend will show up and get a packet.
Right.
And then they got to read the packet to move on, and then they'll find these. It's pretty much an event cache or a lab cache back then that you'd have to find to solve the puzzle to get to the real cache. Although you're not supposed to have an event around a cache, but you can find caches at an event. Right. So, and it kind of has the same type of thing. I think I have the files and documents, actually. I'm sitting down here during this show, so.
Mr. Chad will wheel around to his secret drawer that he had locked. But yeah, so that would be kind of interesting. I like.
So this is what the packet that they would get. And then inside is they would have to decrypt this to find out actually the location of the event. So I don't remember how I was going to have a meet somewhere. I don't know if I was going to send these out to them. It was years ago. And then they'd get the coordinates. And then I made up a paper. I didn't finish writing it out. But I was actually going to use a UV ink on this one to fill out the paperwork or their mission and everything. And then I had a couple other things too. I don't know where they're at. They must be in the other packet. But anyways, I like the idea of this, how he has that. And I think that's amazing to where you don't actually have to do a physical packet. You just can go on there and do a link to a page.
Right. Yeah. And Mr. Geocache is pointing this out. And I saw this come out as well today. That there's a new locationless geocache coming out in a week where you have to link a cache where and had a great story or location that you think is really great. For me, I already have it. It's one of my favorite caches in the area. And it's just a great place. I go there, even though I've already found the cache there, I go there quite often because it's just a really cool place. So that's definitely what, and I'm not going to say what it is, but actually not on air, but yeah, that's great. It's those backstories. And that's what's really cool. I love the spy idea. And maybe, what do you think about doing a new spy idea and maybe running with that some aspects, Chad?
Anything. So that's what we're here tonight is we need to figure out what we're going to go with. If we're going to go with a spy, which everybody likes spies, or if we're going to go with sci-fi or what is the theme of the cache. And then we need to come up with a backstory. Sci-fi spies.
One.
I like the spy idea. I know it's probably used a lot, but I think it's cool. I think it's a unique idea that, I think there's lots of different ways to go with it.
And I like the confidentiality thing. I mean, we can hide so many different elements in the cache. What type of elements would you want? We've talked about, I know one time last week we talked about an LCD screen somehow that they would actually be able to decrypt something. Then I would be able to change like a touch screen, which would be really cool, but it'd be very expensive and very temperamental if the cache was outside all the time. But so unless you're taking it to events, that would be completely different.
I think it'd be cool to have over several different caches that you have to find a series to get to the final.
Yeah.
Too as well. I have this little digital photo frame thing that plays videos.
Right.
And I was thinking about uploading a video and it will just repeat itself. And it's done by motion. So if it's in a container, when it opens, it will start up and you could do a video, some kind of cool spy video or something like that.
That is really, I like that idea. That's
it
really
has
cool.
a spot for SD cards and USBs and stuff in the back. So,
well, and what's cool is that, I mean, you have most of your caches are put at constant power anyways.
Correct. So for me, that would be fairly simple to put out.
Now, this is a cool idea. Shannon's mentioning, what about a time machine theme that references significant events that have happened in history? So maybe you could be a time spy. So So yeah, that's actually a really cool idea too. Pizza Niche thinks that's a great idea with using that picture frame. I like that, and that's really cool. I hadn't seen one that's a motion one, so that's really neat.
Well, they're made for they're displays for retail stores.
Okay,
So
that's really cool. So Engineer 42 says setting the time period / era of the story helps determine the kind of puzzles that make sense and help the finder determine how to think of the puzzle. So that's very true, and that's a really great point. I mean, you could even think of a gangster aspect of it. So I mean, there's could be like I'm just thinking things right off the top of my head. You have gangsters, so like Al Capone and Bugsy and all. I know Bugsy's not probably a real one, but that aspect of it too that you could do. You could do like a Wild West, so like a Western theme.
Well,
Spy.
if it's time travel, yeah, you can do several.
Time travel could be really cool. Steampunk.
I love steampunk stuff.
So I mean,
haven't done any on the show yet.
I know. So, but that would be kind of. There's a lot of different. Yeah, but we got to nail one down. So, should we put it up to a vote and just kind of let our audience? So
we'll leave it up to the live chat.
Let's leave it to the live chat. So we're going to put this. And sorry for those that are joining us by audio. So we've got time travel and spy, and don't cop out and say it's a time traveling spy. So that can't do that. It's got to be one or the other. So go ahead and put it in the chat. What do you think it should be? And I'll keep a tally of what everybody says. We got 16 that are watching right now live, and I know we started 30 minutes early tonight, but which also means we're going to be out at 7:30, 8:30 Central as well. So just remember that. So we'll probably have some more people joining in right about 8 o'clock Central, but that's fine. But go ahead and put it in the chat. You think, or if you have another idea, so throw that out there real quick. But we're looking at spy or time travel in this for a backstory. And then once we get the backstory, then we can probably play the game where, all right, so we start setting kind of a theme of what it's going to be. And everybody, I would love to see people putting comments in there. We kind of run with your idea, at different aspects of it. So,
what would be kind of fun is if you had a drop location. So like what Spies had, if you did Spy. So there was something next to it, like a brick that had an SD card. And then you had to go to the cache that was close by and put it in to watch the video. And then you can put the SD card back, obviously, when you're done to reset it.
Yeah, and that'd be the only problem is if I'd be afraid that they wouldn't put it back. But it would be easy enough to have another one. But then,
Or I guess it's no different than just finding it where it's already preloaded. But
right now, the other thing is if you go to that brick and had just a code that when they go in there, they had to type in a code. They find it, but they have to go to a location and find a code written someplace. Maybe it's even on a pole or something like that there's a code on some aspect of it. And then you go to that one and you enter a keypad and that powers up that screen to come on and then does it. So then they're not having on. Yeah, they're not having to replace anything. So
yeah, that's easy enough. You can actually have a program where you type in the code, just like to crack the code cases and stuff, and then it turns on a relay for a certain amount of time before shutting off, and that will power that up, and that should automatically play once it's powered up.
Right. So Pizza Ninja is mentioning about having a QR code somewhere on it. Bell on the Move saying spy game, defusing bombs and stuff. So there's one for spy. So
I like the spy thing myself too.
Okay, let's see here. Garmin chirp for the code. The only problem with that is not everybody has a Garmin, and that kind of limits that aspect of it. As much I've only found one of those, and I had to have somebody with me.
Spy.
Who says spy?
Pizza Ninja.
Pizza Ninja says spy. Then we have do a hunt for clues like National Treasure. So National Treasure. I love that's one of my favorite movies. Another vote for spy. GeoTribe says, "Looking, I'm history nerd. Gonna do time travel." So there's one for time travel. So right now we got 3 for spy. Now is the National Treasure aspect of it would be Would that be time travel or would that not be time travel? So I'm trying to figure out which way for that.
Mr. Casher says spy.
Okay. So we're up to 4 on that one. Looks like we're going to be on spy. Thunder 360 says I used an app to decode the chirp. Okay. That's great. Put in what app you're using because I haven't found that app. Because that's something really that would be really good because that would be something that we could do. So yeah, see GeoTribe 5 is going, what app is that? So because that would open that up. If we knew what the app was, that would open up that aspect of it to be able to do that. And I think that's really cool.
Engineer 42 said if you make each puzzle match a time period, then that would be fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Well, there's no reason why we can't do one now and then maybe tackle the other one in a couple months. See how this one goes either. So
I think for the time travel, I think it'd be cool to have a steampunk time travel.
That'd be fun. That'd be cool. We could do that.
I mean, you already have a time machine back there already.
I do. I have a steampunk backpack time machine thing.
All right, so it's called Wolf. Sorry, it's called Wolf Chirp. Is that for? I'm pulling out my phone real quick. Is that for Android or is that for Apple OS?
Jim Stark's asking that same thing. He thinks it's only for.
All right, Joe. We're thinking the same thing. I'm pulling out my app store right now, so I'm going to be checking that as well. And Ed, that's cheating. He's saying time spy. Said you couldn't do that. It must be just an Android app because there's nothing coming up for Wolf Chirp.
Okay.
Or Wolf, yeah. So there's nothing on that on Android on there. Oh, Chirp Wolf. Okay, let me try that. All right, because that would be kind of interesting.
So we could also make it so the plan of this was to do almost for an event in a puzzle a box that has several ones, but I guess we could have the puzzle box at one cache that they have to complete several sides of the puzzle box to do it, or we just make several different. I guess there's no reason why you can't just make each one separate instead of in a cube. You just make separate ones and put caches out.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sandra, I'm saying you could easily use both. And that's true. And that app looks like it's just for Android. So because that's what Thunder 360 was using. iPhone uses Miss the Fun. They struggle with Chirp, with NFC, Light with their, yeah. So, I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to whichever brand you go with. So, and I agree with GeoTribe 5, but iPhone users have Cachely. Yes. And if we can get Nick at Cachely to create a chirp for his app, that would be awesome. All right. So we're looking at which way are we with? Most votes said spy.
I think spy is what most votes were. Besides Engineer 42, he said both.
Yeah. So if we're doing spy, I mean, you could do a future spy. You could do a spy in the past. You could do present. What time frame? So we got spy. Now we need to figure out time frame because that determines what type of puzzles too.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, putting it out in the chat. This is kind of like playing that Mad Libs game. Remember playing Mad Libs? And it's like you have to give a verb, give a noun, time, all that stuff. And that's what we're doing. We're doing a Mad Libs version of create a backstory and theme. So a theme is spy. So now we need to come up with time frame. So what is our time frame? You think? Do we do it? So start putting time frames. Couple different time frames. Do we do future, present, or past? That's actually between those two. Pizzanis says Cold War spy. So we're talking 60s to 90s time frame. I believe that's when the Cold War was pretty much going on. So that we're talking that aspect of it. So Cold War. So U.S. versus Russia. That time frame. So Cold War, which would be kind of cool. All right, so we got Cold War time frame. A lot of James Bond movies were done around that time frame, if you think about it. A lot of the good ones, at least. So what else do we got? Got Cold War. I like that idea. There's there could be some really cool types of puzzle.
You could do a Morse code if you're going back in time.
Yep, Morse code would be a good one.
The card reader sensor type thing, but I don't know how great that would be.
Right. You could do the flag code. Bell on the Move says future sci-fi is Chad's forte.
Future sci-fi. Yeah.
So more future. Okay, so we got Cold War time frame. Then we got future. Morse code would be cool. You have flag code. You could do. There could be some different ciphers aspect of it. It'd be kind of cool to be able to do a heat sensitive. So if you heat something up, then their text and all that shows up versus doing UV. That'd be a little bit different. Or
yeah,
fog glass. So if you had to do the on the glass, it reveals the font. But then you got people are going to be breathing all over the cache anyways. So
yeah, I'm trying to think of different games or different ones that would be good. But
that's piece of saying you could do an old school punch style card style puzzle.
Well, you know what Doug Ross has, where you have all the
I
numbers,
was just thinking that where
you have that card
and move it around and line up.
You can do several different cards, and only one of them is correct.
Right.
So you might have to take a couple different answers with you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be.
You could have somewhere in the story that would actually give you the right answer of those several of them.
Right.
You can also make the puzzle time out if you get the wrong answer for 10 minutes or whatever. So they actually have to wait. You can't just do one code and that doesn't work to do the next one.
Right. So Engineer 42 says Cold War period had a one-time pad encryption with number stations broadcast to spies in the field. You could do a redacted sheet too. So you'd have a sheet that just had redacted, and when you put it over certain parts, and that's basically what the card is that Doug did as well. So, that's okay. So we're starting to get some puzzles. I'm thinking that we're kind of leaning toward Cold War time frame.
That's cool. Cold War is fun. Yeah.
Okay, now here's the question. If we're doing the Cold War, which side are we doing?
Soviet.
Soviet, or we're going to be on the Ally side or U.S. side?
I don't know.
Would it be the Allies? Because it was. So let's see. Maybe something to do with a car. Like the car has to avoid obstacles and take jumps, side scrolling or top down. Okay, so we're talking that would be what we could do with an LCD screen. So I've seen that where you have like a a knob, and you can go back and forth, and you can just kind of determine which way it goes.
1985 was the year of the spy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and Engineering 42 says, do you need to specify which side? Probably not. We really don't. So then here, use magnets or electronics. So we could do that. Lots of.
I have to go back and watch some spy movies.
So we're gonna have to do some more research and stuff. But I do like. I like the number code, the where it kind of beeps out what it would be, and you have to figure out the cipher of it. You also have tap code would be kind of in that aspect of it too, that you could do. We're almost getting, this is like a puzzle. We may have to get with the Puzzle Boys on some of this too.
That would be a great idea. We already did it. We've already done one crossover show with them that we need to complete. But that's what they specialize in is puzzles. And Tom actually is really good at finding these and figuring them out.
Right. And maybe that we turn that one into more of something for this. Because I think the theme, and maybe like you said, maybe several different caches that kind of go along with it, and then you'd have like a bonus cache, so like a mystery cache. You have to solve these other ones before you get to the last big one. Maybe they even have like a diagram of something that you have to make to be able to get into the last one. So you have to solve all these others, and you have to, each piece, you get like a template of what you need to make to unlock the last one, like a certain type of key. So it'd have like a diagram, and you have to sketch it out, what it is. And then that that could be kind of cool.
Could always, well, it would be fun, and it'd probably be hard to do. But the once I had the idea of the laser, where you can't break the beam, you gotta have that can of portable smoke in there to see where the beams are to touch the button. But that would be fun. I know Tricacheus has a cache like that out.
Shannon's, I'll go back up to yours, Peach Ninja, here in just a second. Shannon says, have an old school switchboard to find the right conversion to give clues, which is really cool. I still like the idea that we had your switchboard that we had in there the other day, and I just went back and focused, that you had the other day, plugging that in and it activates and has a voice that talks to you. That would be kind of cool.
Great. I actually do like that idea.
Yeah, that one.
We'll have to put that in there.
The piece says, make the spy a secret double agent that is unsure of what side they are actually on until the end. That's a cool idea.
It'd be kind of fun if you had two different puzzles, and depending on which way you went, it would be a different outcome. You'd either be Russian or US or whatever.
That'd be cool. I mean,
you'd still be able to sign the log at the end, but you may turn out to be a Soviet spy or a US spy.
And that would be kind of doing the story of that. That'd be really, really cool. That would be really intriguing of how to do that.
I have an event coming up here next week at a building that's empty. It's 90,000 square feet and has all these different rooms, 3 stories. And I think it'd be fun to have some kind of event where people they get times to get to go out and go. It's going to give them clues to different rooms or something to figure out these puzzles. I think that'd be a fun story to do, or a fun event to make.
Right.
So I might have to do that off of what we come up with here.
So Engineering 42 says, the finder accidentally stumbles into the spy versus spy battle. They can choose which spy to stop with your idea of two puzzles. So that would be... So that's really cool. I like that. I
like that too. I'm sorry. I'm looking at other things here too, as well, and different ideas, and being able to. We should be able to create whatever we need. If it'd be kind of fun if you had to download something too, maybe, or print something off.
Yeah, I mean, you have those. I've seen where you had to print the picture, where you have to look at it, and you can do it on your phone. And you have to look down the charging port at an angle, and it reveals the code. You could do that. Maybe you could do like Mad Magazine, where you had to do the certain fold over of the page to get it to line up to do something. So you'd have to print it and then fold it. Different things like that you'd have to do. But it would all be in the cache page. Okay, so you could build on each one of what it's doing to each aspect of it.
I like that. There's a bunch of stuff. I'm looking at all kinds of stuff here online. I probably should look at it later, but there's one. So if you find those caches that have multiple puzzles to get to the logbook, I mean, some you have to have the different lenses. One of them, you have to figure out the correct spy by having different hair and different mustache and different face figures together,
right,
to figure out who the correct spy is. You have to use the old 3D glasses, to look at it. There's all kinds of different ways to do that. So, polarized lenses, you can do that. So, in fact, on a computer screen, you can actually take the front surface off to where you can't see it unless you have polarized lenses. And that'd be kind of fun to have that to where it's actually on, but it doesn't look like it.
Right.
And it will have something on the screen.
That is cool. So Shannon is also saying switchboard would give some audible red herrings. Not every conversion would be useful. Um, Bot Matrix says diffuse a nuclear weapon by punching in a sequence and turning some key switches. So you could even do some big knobs and aspect of it on one of them that you have to diffuse the bomb. And I think this is looking to be like multiple caches in the series that would go out, and you have to complete them to actually finally get to you'd get the clues for the bonus cache, I guess you would say, at the end.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm gonna take a screenshot of something here and share it.
Remember the time period. No internet during the Cold War. Stay immersive. So thank you. Good point. Definitely has to have lasers as Bot Matrix. So Cold War. So it would be really neat if you had a tape, like a tape drive. So like a big old tape that you'd have to put in, like almost like an 8-track. For those that are, most of us aren't young and are old enough to know what an actual tape drive would be, that are in here tonight. But yeah, that would be another aspect that you could do if you could find.
Yeah, we could print one up easy enough or make one. I mean, that's actually wouldn't be too hard to replicate one. But I found one years ago and I should have purchased it, but I didn't, and now I kind of regret it because there's been a few times where I thought I could have used one of those.
Right, and you have an old style phone, if I remember back there in the back.
I have several different old style phones. So I have the, oh, you know what? Here, let me grab it.
Because you have okay, so this is coming way back. Some people may not remember this that are watching this for the first time, but I believe what he's going to be getting is a rotary. That's pronounced rotary phone.
I didn't. I grabbed the red phone.
Oh, the red phone.
But I do have a rotary phone.
I was thinking the rotary phone that you have back there. I remember.
It's not back here anymore. I think I put it over here.
So, but yeah, but that would be that aspect of it with the phone. I think would be really cool too.
Well, yeah, that would be.
And that would fit in that time frame.
And so the way this cache is here, I'm coming back. The way this one actually worked, and I don't know if I have it together. I don't know if I just threw it in here after I took it out. So it was mounted in here. Nice. And you'd pick it up. So this is a phone box.
Right.
That locked. And you picked it up and it actually gave you a story. And in that, on the back of this, it actually asked you a question on here that was in the story to get the cache.
See, now that would be a really cool element that would fit into this.
I actually have two of these phone boxes. So it'd be kind of fun to have two of them where you actually have two people and you got to push the correct button at the same time to get something to open.
This one is a teamwork one.
Yeah. And you got to listen. Maybe the stories are different and you got to push the correct button from the story.
Or each one gets a certain sentence of it and they have to listen and they have to compare notes to get the actual message. So one would have one says, okay, what did yours say? Well, it said that this sentence and then had this sentence and it just doesn't make any sense. And then they go, oh, well, mine said this and it fills in the blanks to the other one.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I think the Shannon says here, remember time period, no one in it during the Cold War.
Right. And that's what I think that phone, the rotary phone aspect of it would be really cool for it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think we got to figure out something like that. And I like the idea where you have to have two phones and you got to push the correct button, one on each phone, to get something to open.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be fun, but I think you have to listen to a story or figure something out to know what button to push.
Right. Or dial to turn.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to make that happen, but I can check into it.
We might have some friends.
So there's also where'd it go here? Actually, go ahead. Let me find it here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that this would be that aspect of it just really makes it really intriguing of things what we could do. I mean, I like the phone idea. yeah, opening a latch or a hidden door or something like that, then that reveals starting to reveal the clue to be able to find the last puzzle. And you got to find all 5 or whatever a number we end up getting to be able to find that final puzzle. So it just kind of leads into that. You could do, oh no, that's more modern. That wouldn't be. Now I was thinking, was it 3 words? That is every inch of the earth or something like that. You have to find the 3 words. But that wouldn't work. You could do some type of code. So like the weather is 95 degrees. Whoa. And it's only 60 in England or whatever. It's some like word phrase passcode type thing too.
So you could have one. Oops, here we go. Did that? Here we go. I don't know how to make this look as nice as yours. This shows all my junk I have up here. But anyway, you can have a cache like this that has multiple puzzles.
Right.
Like
it's like a briefcase.
A briefcase. And inside that, I just happened to find these online.
Let me add the stream again because you took it
out.
Yeah,
there we go. I guess I didn't need to exit out. There's the different puzzles you have to find to get into those, and those have different, they have the different clues or the different puzzles for each section on there. So you'd start out with one that has the 1, 2, 3, 4.
That would be a cool final.
That's an idea.
That would be a cool final because the clues that you got on each one could reveal each of those locations to defuse the actual bomb. So maybe the mission is to defuse the bomb, but you got to go to all these other caches to get the clues to be able to do it. I don't know. Yeah. Bot Matrix says, what about detecting Cold War subs with sonar? Maybe using a battleship game idea. So I've actually done a battleship game in Charleston, which was kind of fun. It took me, there was like 28 different stops to be able to figure it out. You didn't have to go to all of them, but it still took me a while to do it.
I think we have a lot of good ideas here to look at. And I think next week we need to come back with some good games. But I think what we really need to do is figure out our backstory too, to make them. I guess we got to figure out the puzzle so the backstory will fit the puzzle.
Right.
So I don't make up stories very good. So,
yeah, so here's your homework for this week we're doing Spy, Cold War. Think about some of the stuff that we've talked about tonight. So like the telephones, maybe that end puzzle, maybe defusing a bomb. But how would you come up with a backstory of all these different ideas? And if you could, go ahead and send us an email. Let me get to it. Send us an email with your idea at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com, and we'd love to share it. And then we can kind of go back in through and kind of vote on which is the best backstory. And that's what we'll start maybe building all these aspects out of, is the backstory that you come up with. Because this would be really cool. I mean, I think this is a really neat concept of some stuff that we could be doing for this game. The backstory. I know Andrew Bell on the Move has a Indiana Jones series that has several different caches that makes it more interesting. So I think the buildup of this idea from cache to cache to get to the final location is really, really cool. I haven't personally seen that really done anywhere. I saw one sort of like that. You just got a couple different words here and there that you had to end up putting together, but nothing like this.
I wonder if you could do fingerprints where you got to match up fingerprints.
You could, and it has to be old school. So you have to do the overlays.
Yeah.
And lay it across.
That'd be kind of fun to do something like that. Maybe have some kind of passport too.
Mm-hmm.
Too many ideas. Not
passport,
too many.
Maybe you have to look at different flight patterns. Looking at a pattern where they've visited.
Maybe where they went. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm writing all this down. So.
Something to do with microfiche, and maybe like some old film that they have to look at clue wise. You could do that with like
I know someone who has
do
one of
with
those
like knobs,
machines.
because you do like where you're looking into the cache itself, and you have to use the knobs, and you got to turn the microfiche, and you wouldn't actually have to be microfiche, but it'd be like you'd be scrolling back and forth on like something that you could see. That's, I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Engineer 42 said, "Are we making a real cache to be hidden, or is this for an event where it doesn't really need to be live, long, unattended?" Either way,
That's a good question. I would like to see it actually hidden.
I'd like to see it hidden as well. I think I have enough safe locations that I think that it would be okay. But yeah, I think it'd be. I'm always up for refreshing my caches. So if we have a good idea, I'll be more than happy to put them out.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I mean, it's definitely going to have some ciphers. It's definitely going to have some UV light, hidden codes. I like the Morse code idea. I like the number signal aspect of it, like a tower. I mean, you could even throw in what was it called? It was a Enigma, like an Enigma machine. I know that was from World War II, but you can throw in something like that into it. There's a lot of different aspects. I kind of like the idea if they had to build something, or each one either build something, get into the final one that they'd have to set in place, and they get like different parts of the diagram or the instructions of what they need to do for each at each location. But they don't know how it goes together until they get there. So they may have these random parts or whatever that they have to put together somehow. And it could be specific, like a 2-inch bolt that's a 1/4 inch wide or something like that. And they have to take that to it and to the final location and what do I need with this? Oh, so this goes here, and then they could do something with it or something like that. So, I mean, there could be like specific things that just look completely random things, but then when they get to the final cache, they see it. The parts to make a large key, and that's kind of I've heard about a cache that did that, and that's kind of what I was thinking of when I said that. I've never found it, but I think it'd be really cool. So, but once again, kind of your idea for your homework for this week is to maybe come up with a backstory using these ideas that we've kind of come up with, or something along that aspect of a Cold War spy thriller game aspect. Working on a backstory, then we can come up with the puzzles around that. And if you'd send us your idea and we can share it, send it to us at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, you can always tag us on Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast. And
Lockpicking cache. Come on. Nothing better spy than lockpicking.
Exactly. I mean, right. Got to have lockpicking in there somewhere. So, absolutely right. So,
yeah, please send us your idea if you're, especially since we're a little bit early today. If you haven't logged on yet, or you're just logging on, or you're not watching us live, send us an email. Let us know your ideas for either the puzzle or the game. I think we're going to do spy, so that doesn't really matter. But for either a backstory or a puzzle, right, that would be great. We'd love to be able to share it and maybe use it on one of our caches here.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And mechanical, not necessarily these. I think these would be more mechanical versus electronic. I mean, there may be some electronic into basic electronics, but nothing like Arduino aspect of it, but more like what you and Shannon were talking about with the escape room aspect of it is what I'm thinking. So maybe
there's all different ways we can go with it. And I agree. The mechanical will be a lot easier than.
Yeah. And I think it'd fit that time period a little bit better too.
Yeah. So that would be cool. That'll be easy.
So, I mean, I think this is going to be really, really cool. And really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to this.
This is gonna be fun. We'll be able to focus on a little bit more here after next week, just because there's a lot going on for me. But I think this is going to be really amazing.
So, Bell on the Move says clear lock picking training locks are very cool. I agree. They are.
Yeah, I was just gonna grab mine.
I have that one, and there's another one. If you'll focus, there's another type right there, and I've got some. I got another one too. So yeah, they are really cool. So
you had something close by. Look at that.
I know.
Remember, that's me who does that.
I know. Just sitting on my desk. I'll sit here when I'm doing stuff, and I'll sit there with. Of course, my lock picking set's downstairs. I had to take it to work. We're trying to get into a door that in the building that had never been unlocked.
Well, so, and you know what we can do that would be fairly simple to make is we could use. Let me figure out where I keep all my junk at here. Remember these kits that we got?
Yeah.
And with the RFID ones too.
Yeah.
Those would be a really easy one that doesn't take. I mean, there's not really any programming. They're pretty much simple to use, and people could bring their own power.
Right.
So, you know, anyways, that's one way we can go with it too.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. So, all right. So once again, send us your ideas, send us your backstory that you think would be really cool, the spy Cold War time frame, and then we can start and maybe even add some puzzles that you think would be really neat in there. What are we looking at? Five locations, five regular, and then the bonus, or 4 regular and a bonus.
Maybe 4. We'll have to see how it goes. I mean, if I see a puzzle and I want to do it, I'm going to make it no matter what. I don't know how many we'll put out, but you know, just make me go out and I guess talk to people and get caches put out there. Yeah. So that'll be fun.
Okay. And thanks for joining us. We are probably going to be moving our time when we're actually going to be doing Gadget Talk. Chad and I are talking about what's going to work out best with our schedules. Our schedules kind of, my schedule's kind of changed for Tuesday nights. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult for me to be here. So we're looking at another time. And so we will keep you updated on what it's going to be. But thanks for joining us. I think this is going to be a lot of fun, Chad. I think
it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting even more excited.
Yeah. So this is going to be really fun. This is the kind of stuff that we like doing, is kind of come up with these themes and then kind of running with them over several weeks, maybe even months of kind of working on all these different aspects of this. So.
Yes. Yeah. So looking forward to it. It'll be great. Send us an email if you have any ideas on puzzles, backstory, anything like that.
All right. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time here on Gadget Talk. Good night.
Good night.